Well, here we go with the next Blethers episode, and I just can't wait to— Oh dear God, it's Disney's Frozen! Oh wait, no, it's An American Tail. Yeah, I know I should be relieved here, but I'm really not. Damn, is this movie depressing. As I've been diving deeper and deeper into the animated movies and TV shows that also celebrate turning 30 years old this year, that's why the majority of these videos this year have been about animated shows and movies from the year 1986. Just by the way, I have discovered certain coincidences and conspiracy theories within the animation industry during that time, and yeah, I'm a sucker for this kind of stuff, okay? The majority of these stories seem to have been brushed under the rug though, as there isn't much solid concrete evidence to prove there was actual plagiarism going on. Perhaps these movies were inspired by similar source material and it is just pure coincidence, but I'm not convinced. You know, there's just far too many similarities going on. Certain movies ripping off other obscure movies, best examples being Cat City and An American Tail, or the possibility of An American Tail actually being a rip-off of the graphic novel Mouse, which Art Spiegelman accused Steven Spielberg of. For those of you who don't know, Mouse was a graphic novel about the Second World War that was published in 1980 to 1991. Jews were depicted as mice, while Nazi soldiers were depicted as cats. Similarly, in An American Tail, the Moskowitz family are Jewish, and the cats shown in the intro of the film that attack the village are depicted as Cossack extremists. The cats' depiction throughout the film vary from monstrous depictions of Cossack arsonists to stereotypical New York gangsters, some wearing apparel that is inconsistent with the time period. This movie is meant to be set in 1885, and yeah, some of the costumes here are questionable. Next to Walt Disney himself, Don Bluth to me is one of the greatest pioneers of animation, and the two are so closely related that it's impossible not to compare the two in regards to the art styles of the movies they both released. Some of the best work that Disney produced during the 70s was because of Don Bluth. The Small One, for example, released in 1978, is one of Don Bluth's finest works and one of my personal favourites of his. 7 years prior to the release of An American Tail, Don Bluth and several of his colleagues who worked for Disney as animators left right slap bang in the middle of the production of Disney's The Fox and the Hound, which caused huge delays. They left to start their own animation studio named Sullivan Bluth Studios, later known as the Bluth Group. Bluth, it seemed, wanted to go back in time to before animation studios were finding shortcuts to save budgets and return the art of animation to its glorious golden age, this being the 1950s and prior. And honestly, I feel this was one of the best moments for the industry. I hate to say it though, but from what I've read, the awkward years for the animation industry as a whole could be pinpointed to when Don Bluth left Disney. Alright, before you Don Bluth fanatics start throwing sharp-pointed implements in my general direction, I am not blaming Don Bluth for anything here. All I'm saying is that Don Bluth was a key element in the Disney company, and he left a large gaping wound that didn't begin to heal fully until 1986 rolled around with the release of Basil the Great Mouse Detective. Even then, the release of An American Tail pulled the rug out from under Basil's feet, becoming the highest non-Disney animated movie of that year. Even though Basil was a far better quality film, at least in my opinion, An American Tail had more of the cute factor and tugged at the heartstrings of the audience more than Basil did. Let me be clear, cute sells. Cute does not mean the same as good storytelling. The two films are both adventure films but have far different atmosphere. For me, Basil had the eccentricity and intelligence I find irresistible, but at the same time, An American Tail had the whimsy and wonder that Basil lacked. The film had a look that had a rounder and softer look reminiscent of 1940s animation, pulling inspiration from many animated shorts of the time, such as Looney Tunes short Bedtime for Sniffles, released in 1940, and Mouse in Manhattan, released by Hanna-Barbera in 1945. Artistically, it is a sleepy and melancholic film set in 1885 about a Russian family that immigrate to America in the hopes of a better life and to escape the cats. Their son Fievel, a curious child, gets separated during the voyage to America, and the film shows his adventures trying to reunite with his family while meeting all kinds of crazy, colourful and some dangerous characters along the way. Once the rest of the family arrive in America, they come to terms with the loss of Fievel and accept the probability of his death. Only Fievel's sister Tanya refuses to accept Fievel is dead, encouraging her father to look for him. Sadly, her father refuses, having lost all hope. I feel that if the family were more active in the story and actually looked for Fievel, the constant near misses between the family and Fievel would have been far more tolerant. When characters do come across him to help him find his family, they are distracted by the fight with the cat, or are distracted by potential love interests. The only characters that seem to genuinely care for Fievel's predicament is Tiger the cat, who Fievel doesn't meet until 2/3 into the film, and Henri the pigeon, the first character he meets when he lands in America. Many of Don Bluth's features focus on loss, abandonment, war, and death. Yes, that's a dead mouse on that table. Cute. An American Tale has a much quieter atmosphere and far more subdued acting tone, as well as a slower pace than the majority of animation at the time. Interestingly, during production, the film was going to be set in a world populated by anthropomorphic animals similar to Disney's Robin Hood, released in 1973. Somewhere down the line, though, it was decided to have it be a hidden society about mice and cats living alongside humans. To me, this is the movie's biggest problem. It just seems a little odd to me that this society goes unseen or ignored. The reason why it works in films like The Rescuers or Basil is that the humans are either part of the story, even if it did feel a little silly in The Rescuers, or they play some kind of cameo role like in Basil and remain oblivious to the presence of the mice and absent from the main story. Here the humans are just there as ghost-like figures cohabiting the world, mirroring the suffering of the mice and interacting with the mice once or twice just to move the character Fievel from one place to another. It just seems a little pointless and does nothing for the story. The animation on the majority of Bluth's films are rich and fluid but left with weak or unsatisfying narratives, and An American Tale is, for me, the one with the weakest narrative, being unfocused and almost disinterested in the final outcome. The characters get caught up in the political fight and become the main plot, while Fievel, finding his family, is placed on the back burner. Fievel's hat provides a symbolic connection to his family and is also used as the cause of Fievel being lost at sea in the first place, when he deliberately throws his hat onto the deck of the ship in the middle of the storm. Throughout the film, Fievel wears his hat, or at least keeps it close, symbolising the hope he clings to in finding his family. He only loses hope when he loses his hat in the final third of the film, ending up surrounded by orphans who tell him to forget his family. I'm going to admit something here. My hat is kind of modelled after this very hat in this film and has just as much significance to my own family as Fievel's hat does to his. The phrase that Henri the pigeon teaches him, "never say never," teaches him not to lose hope in finding his family, a phrase he repeats to his father when they are reunited and the hat is placed back on his head. Even though this film has a sleepy and melancholic tone in the visuals, the story itself has hope threaded throughout it, and I have to admire it for that. I can't say that it's up on my list of favourite animated films or anything, but the history behind it makes it far more interesting to me. The 3 sequels, Fievel Goes West, and The Treasure of Manhattan Island, and The Mystery of the Night Monster, come nowhere near the same level of richness as fluidity as the first one, but are still interesting enough viewing for fans of the original, I suppose. The best of the 3 sequels being Fievel Goes West, released in 1991. There was also a short-lived television series, but I've never seen it, so can't really say much about it. In regards to its historical significance to the industry, it's a must-watch. I recommend you watch this if you haven't yet, and appreciate it for its cuteness and whimsy if that's your kind of thing, and ignore the awkward execution of the story. Yeah, just pay more attention to the actual history of the making of the movie. It's far more interesting. I'm Mad Munchkin. Stay creative. Hey, thank you so much for watching this video, and before you go, don't forget to click that like button and check out some of my other content too. And hey, if you really like what you saw and want to see more, go ahead and click subscribe. Don't forget you can also show your support by following the official Mad Munchkin Facebook page for convention announcements, as well as links to my 2 online shops where you can purchase some of my artwork. Also keep an eye out on the DeviantArt page for announcements on when I am open for commissioned work. Don't forget you can also show your support by becoming a Patreon on my Patreon page, where you can win exclusive rewards like badges, stickers, discounts on commissions, and limited edition personally signed prints, as well as giving me ideas for what to cover in future videos. Thank you so much for watching, and see you again soon.